Ooby-doo, it's everyone's favorite boomer and vintage lens enthusiast. Today we're going to revisit Sigma Zoom Master 2.8 to 4, 35 to 70 multi-coated lens made in Japan. This lens has a couple of dings in the glass right here. Although I bought it, it was a 9 Plus from B&H. But it did say minor scratches. So I said, yeah, it looks beautiful. And usually the rubber ring is distorted a little bit, but it looks really nice. And there was some grime on it, and I cleaned it off. So I originally ran this on the SONY A5000, which is a high-level mirrorless camera. And I was able to focus really good. That's 70 millimeters. This is 28 millimeters. So at 70 millimeters, using peaking focus, I was able to get good results, but I was getting pretty bad results at 28 millimeters. Now, part of the problem is I'm not used to using peaking focus. I always like to use the live manual focusing zoom. So the A5000 had a low resolution electronic viewfinder and a medium resolution screen. So I said, you know, I'm going to take this lens to the park and do a study of rocks and blocks and trees using the SONY A5000 or A5000. It has a very high resolution screen. I have a hoodman on it, so I was able to get precise focus. And guess what? It's really good at 70 and 28 millimeters, which surprised me. And as usual, I used f8. F8 was only for 35 millimeters. What's the matter with me? I know it's a 35 millimeter lens. I keep saying 28. So, and when you go to 70 millimeters, it turns into f11. They have this chart on the back. So at 35 millimeters, at f8 is f8. But at 70 millimeters, f8 turns into f11. They don't have it indexed or anything, you just have to remember. So on these goofy lenses, I just set it at f8, and what I did, to be more scientific, I shot everything first at 35 millimeters, and then I took the same shot at 70 millimeters. And then I did the A and B on each one, so you could see. And it's a really nice lens at 35 millimeters and at 70 millimeters. I went to the park. It was sort of overcast. It's partly cloudy to mostly cloudy. So I didn't use a lens hood. And I was very pleased with the results. Well, I paid $70 for this lens, only because it was 9 Plus. And it does have these scratches here. It's on a fotodiox thumb adapter. Let's see if you can see these scratches better. Yeah, these specks here. You can see these specks here. Those are actually digs in the glass. But everything else looks really clean. There's no internal haze. It looks really good. So whatever happened, how this happened, it survived that. And we'll look at the slideshow and you can see yourself. Now, I was shooting at ISO 800. ISO 800, the high ISO noise reduction kicked in, so it removed some fine detail. But you can still see that it's a nice lens. And unfortunately, the A5000 is, shall we say, probably suited for autofocus lenses rather than manual focus. But I'm going to stick another lens on that and do another study with that camera. So the A5000, it has the same chip. It's got the same freaking chip, although it has a different processor. So it's still 20 megapixels. This lens will do 20 megapixels, no problem. But that's its limit. But think, it's an old film format lens from, I don't know, 30 or 40 years ago, and it could do 20 megapixels. I only shot at f8, you know, because I shot at f8 and f11. I used ISO 800, so I could eliminate blurring from camera motion. I had fast shutter speed, so I didn't have to worry about that. So let's jump right in and double check this lens, shall we, on a slideshow. There's at least 3 words that sound like aspiration. One spelled with an I, one spelled with an E, and I think one spelled with an A. The one with the I means like some goal that's very important to you that you want to reach. The one with the I, the one with the E means something that's harsh and difficult. The one with the A has something to do with broccoli. I had to look it up in a dictionary. I actually have a paper-bound hardcover dictionary. I had to look them up. So I went to the park and I took the Sigma Zoom Master 35 to 70 with me, and I wanted to give it a second chance on the SONY Alpha or A5000. It has a high-resolution screen, LCD screen, and I use a 2x magnifying hoodman on it. So I was able to focus precisely, and I got some really excellent results. So those digs or scratches or whatever on the front element really didn't affect it at all. I was using ISO 800, and the high ISO noise reduction did get rid of some fine detail, but it was like a sort of a overcast, mostly cloudy day with a few breaks of sun. So I wanted to use a high shutter speed to eliminate the unintentional camera movement. And it worked out really good. And you can see in the B pictures, both the 35 and the 70 millimeter position had really good results. So for the $70 I paid for it, I think I got a keeper. And that's unusual for me because I hate Sigma. But you know, I know Sigma was better back in the early days when they were making lenses for film cameras. So this one's totally manual. It's for a Nikon F mount. It doesn't have the index tab, so it must be before AS, I guess. But that doesn't matter to me. One of the things I don't like is that it has a very long, close focusing. It's like 20 inches or something. So that sort of precludes close-ups with it. So this is A picture, right? Here's the B picture. This is at 35 millimeters. That's decent. That's really good. Now let's look at the 70 millimeter coming up. Here's the 70 millimeter. Okay, that looks pretty decent. But let's look at the B picture for that. That's okay. You know, they could have been focused a little bit better, but you know, I'll take it. It's not a bad lens. Is it a great lens? It's almost a great lens. It's a good lens, I'll tell you that much. Now, Sigma, when they make a good optic, sometimes their mechanicals are bad. So what I'm noticing on this is it's completely manual, so there's no coupling with the camera. The aperture ring has click stops, full and half f-stops. But sometimes when you're slowly clicking it, it's hard to, sometimes you skip it or you don't hit it exactly right. You could be a half f-stop off. But if you move like 4 or 5 clicks at a time, it works pretty good. So I think that the weakness in this lens is the click stops on the aperture ring. The zoom ring, it's a push-pull type. It's not tight, but it's not loose. The focusing ring works really good, and I'll just have to see how it works out. But if you see one in a garage sale or a secondhand store or maybe on eBay and it's in excellent or very good condition, you could pick one up if you could get it cheap. See, look at that. This is decent. This is really decent. This is a B picture. This is a C picture. I want to get, you know, the center is usually B, and then the C picture is usually some edge somewhere, a corner. Is it like a great lens? No, it's not a great lens, but it's a good lens. It's not a bad, optically. Optically, it's not bad. Not at all. It depends on the camera. See, with the Alpha 3000, I was using focus peaking, and I was just having trouble at the wide end, at the 35 millimeter end. I was able to get really good focus at the 70 millimeter. Now, I've seen other wide angle lenses that are always better at zoomed out, the longest zoom position, and crappy at the short end. But this is only a 2x zoom. If they can't make a 2x zoom that's decent, then man, they have tons of troubles, huh? So the 35 millimeter position is actually extremely usable. Extremely usable. I only did one shot at 50 millimeters. Well, they have this iron forge, an iron furnace there from the 1800s, the early 1800s. And this is like their fusion reactor at the time. It was like a big deal, high tech. So it's fallen apart, and they had to put these iron bands around it. About 10 or 12 miles away, there's another iron furnace. And it was in perfect condition up until about 5 years ago, and half of it fell away. But maybe someone thought it was a burial chamber of some kings or something, and they were looking for buried treasure. So half of it like fell away, and now it's in ruin, which is a shame because in America we always abandon our history, and it was on this watershed property, and I guess they don't care about historical things. But then citizens don't care about historical things. Citizens who are born in this country don't, and of course people who come from other countries and become naturalized or stay illegal, they don't care about our history either. So, but I digress. The Sigma Zoom Master 35 to 70 millimeter 2.8 to f4 is a decent optic. Like I said, pick one up cheap, you get a good deal. I mean, if you're vintage lenses, it'll do 20 megapixels in a pinch. So megapixels, that means 16, 12, 10. You know, whether you slap it on, it's going to be pretty decent. I don't think it'll do much over 20 megapixels though. It's a perfect match. And it'll do better at stop down even more than f8 or f11. The center is good. The central portion of the image is good, even at 5.6 or f4 or even 2.8 at 35 millimeters. The central portion is really good, and you know, and that's what most of your pictures are going to be. Your subject's going to be in the center. So keep an eye out for one. Dumb adapters are getting expensive, but they're still relatively cheap if you want to get into vintage lenses. I could recommend this lens.